Feeling called to Washington County as a part of his calling and service to God, a Missouri man has organized a 7-day Christian revival event at a farm in the Elam Valley area of Hurricane that starts this Friday. Aaron Garcia, who describes himself as a traveling apostle for Christ, said he felt called of God to leave Missouri with his family in an RV in 2020 and head to Washington. At first, they thought they were heading to Washington State. However, Garcia says that wasn't the case.
Didn't really know the destinations we were supposed to go to. We just knew that the Lord started showing us Washington, and so we thought Washington State. But as time went on and we started interacting with people, we're actually at an RV park. We actually sold everything for the Lord and we moved into an RV. And so we were traveling kind of America. We went from Missouri down to Texas, but in the process, we were trying to figure out which part of Washington we were supposed to go. Well, a guy at an RV park showed up out of nowhere, and he is from Utah. And I said, oh, that's crazy, because we're supposed to go to Washington County. We felt like the Lord was calling us to Washington County, not Washington State. Because my wife saw Zion National Park on a map, and she goes, that's beautiful there. And I said, well, maybe that's where we're supposed to go, because Zion means heaven, so maybe we're supposed to go to Zion. And I pulled up a map, and I'll never forget it. I pulled up a map, and it was Washington right next to Zion. And I said, honey, it's not Washington State, it's Washington County we're supposed to go to.
Garcia is a Christian evangelist and author who has made it a vision to travel to places God tells him need to hear the gospel. This can be anywhere from remote villages in Pakistan to inner city jails or southwest Utah.
So I'm an apostle, and so I'm more of a pioneer, trailblazer, one who goes out and finds areas to plant. And then once I plant, I leave, and basically the rest of the pastors and teachers come in and they take care of the sheep, the believers. So I actually was a drug addict, and when I was a drug addict 20 years ago, I was a drug dealer, one of the largest in my city back in Missouri. And I was losing my life. I was using drugs and selling drugs and all these different things, and I knew my life was hitting rock bottom. So one evening I was in the drug house called the Devil's Den, that we called it there because it was that much darkness, and I just felt this weight come over my shoulders, and so I just fell to my knees and I cried out and I said, God, if you're real, I need you to come into my life. I need you to change it forever. And 3 days later, I was getting kicked out of the drug house for no reason by the same people who invited me in. I went home to my mom's front doorstep. She told me that I had to get clean. I got clean, and I started to understand that God's hand was in my life. And so through the motions, the Lord started I'm actually a nurse practitioner. So I actually do mental health, and so I deal with people with anxiety and depression. So long story short, I do vocationally to provide for my family. I'm a nurse practitioner, but the calling of God is that I would travel for Him and plant places and bring about revival in those areas, so that America can be saved by the gospel of Jesus Christ.
The 7 nights of revival will be held at a farm at 2020 Flora Tech Road in Hurricane. A number of local churches, including Solomon's Porch and the New Life Christian Center, will also be involved, with a number of churches from out of state, including some from Missouri, Texas, Idaho, and other states, also slated to be involved in some way throughout the week.
We want to empower people. We want to empower the church here. We want the church to increase. We want them to thrive in this area. So we're just using this as a platform for them to come outside the church walls and to experience and actually meet the community where they're at, and hopefully they can inspire the community to come be a part of their church, and find home and find a place where they can grow in the Lord. So that's the goal.
To learn more, read the story below. I'm Mori Kessler with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.